Today on the channel, we unbox the Joe Fixit Build-A-Figure Wave from Marvel Legends. Welcome everyone, Kyle here back again on the channel, and today we are unboxing the Gamerverse Marvel Legends Wave. Recently these started hitting the stores, but not in my area. It's been a little frustrating with this set as these were announced back at Hasbro PulseCon. Was that September? It seems like an eternity now. The funny thing was it was announced, and the next day they started finding these figures in store in Southern California. Can you imagine if those would have been found just a day earlier before the announcement? Minds would have been blown across the world, that's for sure. But funny story with these, I usually find my Marvel Legends very quickly. They usually hit the Midwest within 2 to 3 days of them hitting other places. Fairly consistent, fairly easy for me to get. However, this wave has been a pain. I check BrickSeek, Pop Finder every day. People were finding them all over the country in their Walmarts and Targets, except me. Nothing in my area. Finally, one day I go down to Kansas City for an IKEA trip. Of course, when I'm down there, I see my Pop Finder hits at the Target right by my house. So I get there that night. I find half the set. The other half was bought. So I did get half of them, but then Amazon actually came to the rescue for once. I usually pre-order everything through Amazon. However, I usually end up canceling it because I find it in the stores ahead of time. This time that wasn't the case. I got the rest of the set, and I've had the set except for Kang the Conqueror for the last couple of weeks. But Kang finally came through via Amazon. So now I'm complete on the set. It was time to unbox. You know, when a Gamerverse set was announced, I said, oh no, not another Gamerverse. I don't play video games. I've never been a real big video game guy in my later years of life. I just don't have the time, unfortunately. So I was kind of disappointed. But then they only released 2 characters, and we'll get to them, Captain America and Iron Man, of the Gamerverse game. The rest of the characters in the set are, you know, Avenger and Marvel Universe characters, and some really deep cuts in here. So I like that a lot. So this set ended up from being a letdown at first announced to a fairly strong wave. Definitely something for everybody in this one, I would say. And we'll talk about each one. But I will put a little caveat here. So I was recording this, and all of a sudden my phone died, and all the files deleted, everything gone. So I already reviewed these 2, but they're lost forever into the clouds. So we'll do a quick talk about Jocasta and Thunderstrike real quick here, and then we'll open up the other ones. But I don't know, my iPhone's getting to the end of its days. It might be time for me to upgrade. We'll see. I think I'm due for a new phone in March, but I don't know. We'll play it by ear there. But very strange. Haven't had that happen to me before, and I wasn't going to put them all back in the box and make it all, you know, a fun story again. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's talk Thunderstrike first. So me being a child of the 90s, I was all in on my comic books, my animated series of comic book characters, and I was all in on comic book trading cards, and of course I was all in on figures. So I was eating up everything Marvel with a fork and a spoon back in the 90s, and Thunderstrike was one of those. He was one of those new 90s characters, kind of a Thor knockoff or a sister character to Thor's universe, trying to update and make cool for the 90s, you know. And Thunderstrike was awesome. I remember buying his comic books. I really enjoyed his comic books. Probably hasn't aged well. I haven't read them since then. I'm sure that they aren't looked back with a lot of fondness outside of people that maybe were in the heart of it. But I always thought Thunderstrike was a cool character. A cool take of kind of like a different type of a Thor character. I believe he even became Thor for a while, if I remember right. So a very solid figure. I do got the packaging here. Picked it up off the floor. Grabbed it out of Lemmy's paws. Thunderstrike, Marvel's Thunderstrike. Kevin Masterson follows in the noble footstep of his idol Thor because the world still needs heroes, and more today than ever before. See you later, once again, Mr. Thunderstrike. But a very, very solid figure. As you can see, both these characters fit on Ringside Collectibles stands. I always say, spend your money on your figures, not your stands. Get these at Ringside Collectibles. Tell them Kyle sent you. One of these days, maybe they'll sponsor the show. We'll see. But there you go. There's Thunderstrike there. Absolutely love this. I know there's been some gripe online that people do not like his screaming head scan. They said, oh, you should give us another head scan with it. Well, I do agree with that. I would have liked to seen another head scan. But this one's all right for me. I do not hate this head scan. He's always going to be in the screaming position. We know that. But it's okay. I mean, it kind of fits for me. He does have a hammer, very similar to Thor, but different. More of a triangular shaped. And I believe this is a brand new boot mold. I love the jacket, the brown jacket. I always think of it as the Scott Summers kind of half leather jacket. All the rage back in the 90s, of course. Why so many characters wore them. But great. I love the ponytail on this figure. Just all around. And part of me is a little biased because I've told you before, I grew up with Thunderstrike. I was in on issue #1 with Thunderstrike. He was a favorite of mine. So very solid. I wanted to open this one up first because I think he's probably going to be my favorite of the whole wave. And he did come with the Joe Fixit head. As usual, we're going to build Joe Fixit at the end. We'll build him, talk about him, and then we'll put them in order of my favorites and kind of look at them all together as once. He did come also with one extra hand. Very strange. We're used to getting 2 hands, but I'm okay with that. I don't need a million hands. I've talked about it before. So that works out all right. So there's Thunderstrike. Now let's talk about Jocasta really quick. My history with Jocasta is nothing. Growing up, I was all in on a lot of stuff, but West Coast Avengers, I really didn't read a lot of that. I subscribed to every Spider-Man, every X-Men title, every Punisher title, every Spider-Man title. I just didn't get the Avengers out there. I did every once in a while, there'd be a crossover or something, I'd pick it up, but I just don't remember Jocasta from my reading days and my heavy Marvel days back in the day. I understand she's aligned with Ultron, or was. She now is kind of a tweener a little bit, but she's most of the time an ally of the Avengers. What does it say here? Jocasta's superhuman force fields and electromagnetic beams make her a valuable ally of the Avengers. So there you go. There's the packaging. I'm not going to get a whole lot there because, it is what it is. See you later. But there's Jocasta. Now, we've seen this body mold a million times over the years. Not a lot of extra with this. This is the smallest figure in the set, so that's why she comes with the Joe Fixit torso. That makes sense for packaging. She does come with the old mystical hands. We've seen these with Scarlet Witch. We've seen them with Rogue. We've seen it with tons of characters. A lot of cost savings with this figure. We've seen this body mold a lot, like I said. So this is probably the cheapest one to produce in the set. Just basically a new head sculpt. I know a lot of people are making Lalandra customs out of her. I'm not going to, as I made a Lalandra custom back with Silver Sable in one of the old Spider-Man sets is what I used. And I'm fine with that. I don't need another one. That Lalandra, I can't remember who her head came with. Did it come with Professor X? Can't remember off the top of my head, but that's an easy custom, and that's about all I am. I'm an easy customs guy. I'm not going to sit there painting and detailing and stuff like that. If I can do a head swap or put some things extra on them, I'll do that. That's easy for me to do. But that's Thunderstrike. That's Jocasta. Apologies for not doing the typical unboxing on these two, but it is what it is. That's technology for you, and I'm no technology wizard, that's for sure. So let's look who we got next in the wave. All right, next up, we're going to get into some of the Gamerverse figures. Obviously, Captain America is who we're going to do next. So, I've already said my piece with the Gamerverse collection. I don't play the game. I'm not familiar with it. I'm not really sure what's going on. They're, for the most part, okay figures. Definitely not my favorite figures of the year or any year, but they're okay. I'm turning a shelf of my display into the Gamerverse shelf. I don't know what else you do at this point. I got to have these figures for those Build-A-Figure pieces. You know how it goes. And just being a completist, it's a terrible life. I don't recommend it to anybody. But there's Captain America in the Gamerverse packaging. Now, this figure is not a ton different than the last one. The last Gamerverse series, we got this exact figure for the most part in a blue outfit. This one comes with a different head, and it's black. So that's just some of the differences there. And obviously it comes with the Joe Fixit arm. There he is on the side. That's the whole Gamerverse kind of packaging on the side of some of the people we've gotten. Same thing on the other side. And then there is the back. Let's read what it says about old Steve Rogers, Captain America. Stealth Captain America. Injected with an experimental super soldier serum, Steve Rogers has the peak potential of strength, endurance, and dexterity. So there you go. Comes with extra hands. A very interesting one. I guess you can, it comes with the extra head, so you can have the Captain America head off this. When I first saw this one, this kind of screamed G.I. Joe Army Builder to me. Obviously, Hasbro makes the new G.I. Joe Classified line. We have Cobra Troopers. We got Cobra Ninjas. We're going to have a lot of those kind of things, Army Builders. This one looks kind of like it could be a modern-day G.I. Joe Classified Army Builder. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Maybe some of you guys are doing that out there, but kind of reminds me of a SWAT team outfit a little bit. Reminds me of some of the old G.I. Joe guys of the past, Shockwave and stuff like that. So maybe that's a possibility for people. I have a feeling we'll see this one on clearance eventually. I just don't think it'll be too popular. You guys tell me, but let's get down to it. Let's open this one up. Let's see what's going on in here. Got the Avengers background in there, so that's kind of cool, I guess. See you later. There's him in his plastic prison. Got the shield, of course. You can't have a Captain America without that shield. And extra sets of hands. And then, of course, the Joe Fixit body piece, the arm to the Joe Fixit. Gotta have that as well. There it is. Big, beefy arm. Very cool. We'll build him at the end, as always. Get that shield out. Just your typical run-of-the-mill Captain America shield. We've got many of those over the years. I'm pretty sure this is 100% reuse on this figure. See you later. I'm almost certain. I think I'll probably leave this head on. This is a good head. It looks like Steve Rogers, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Steve Rogers. You can make this into probably a lot of different people, different characters. Like I said, you could use this for G.I. Joe. You could use this for a security guard in your wrestling figure federation. There's a lot of ways you can go with this. Then, of course, you got the Captain America in his stealth suit head there. Not terrible. I kind of like the black suit. Something about it. It reminds me of U.S. Agent. If you guys, longtime comic book people, probably know U.S. Agent. That's probably one of my most wanted figures. I always loved U.S. Agent as a kid. I don't know what it was about that character, but I always thought he was super cool. So I would love a U.S. Agent, and that black kind of reminds me of my boy U.S. Agent. So let's see, does he fit on here? He should, if his brother did in the other Gamerverse line. Yep, there you go. Perfect. We're 3 for 3 as far as fitting on stands, which I know means a lot to people like me. There's these extras that we already talked about. There it is. Not a ton of meat on the bone on this one for me. It's basically just the reuse of the one we talked about before in the blue, but now in black with an extra head added to it. Probably one of the worst Marvel Legend figures of the year just because of that, if you ask me. It's just kind of a cheap repaint is what it basically feels like. And it's unfortunate that he couldn't have been in his own package. Instead, he had to come with the Build-A-Figure piece, but I guess that forces people to buy him. So, a little marketing strategy there. Feeling a little taken advantage of a little bit there. It's probably the weakest of the line, but we'll see when all things are said and done at the end of the video. But there it is. The stealth suit, Captain America. Let's take a look at his counterpart, Iron Man. Alright guys, next up, we've got the Marvel Legends Gamerverse Iron Man. So we've already had a red-suited Iron Man in the first Gamerverse wave. Then we got the white suit in the Target exclusive. I think that came out maybe like beginning of September, beginning of August, somewhere in there. But it's a Target exclusive, still haunting the pegs. I think if I listen real close to the wind, I can hear it talking to me from all the pegs that are warming at my local Target of that white Gamerverse Iron Man. So now we got a blue one. We don't need any more Gamerverse Iron Man. The nice thing, I guess, about Iron Man figures are, at this point, if you're a serious Marvel Legends collector, you got a ton of Iron Man figures. You can kind of build a wall of armor. That's going to be my display eventually. I'll have all my Iron Man lined up, and then I'll have the suited Tony Stark sitting out there kind of being like, which suit am I going to choose today? That's kind of my plan, and this one will fit in that because, I don't know, this isn't the Iron Man anybody thinks of when they think Iron Man. I'm almost certain of that. So there you go. He's got the blue suit. It does come with a Tony Stark head, so very similar to Steve Rogers, getting that Steve Rogers head, giving it a little bit of a point of difference on kind of a repaint. Same packaging as the Captain America, so saved there. There is the back. Got the whole wave down there at the bottom. You got Iron Man doing his thing up top, little piece. Let's see what it says about Iron Man here. Atmosphere armor Iron Man. Tony Stark developed his cutting-edge atmosphere armor to defend the world against catastrophic threats. Well, we appreciate that, Tony. It was very nice of you to help us save against those threats. Let's pull him out. See you later. Comes with the other arm. Captain America had the other one, and he's got this one. Only fitting. Another arm. We'll get that to the end. Get the head and hands out here. There you go. And we'll get Captain out. See you later. So yeah, a lot of reuse here. A little bit different of a little chest piece. I don't think that comes off. It doesn't look like it does. Maybe, yeah, maybe. No, it doesn't look like it comes off. I like blue. Blue is probably my favorite color these days, so I don't mind it. It just feels kind of cheap, like that last Captain America. It's something we really didn't need. He has hand spots for blast effects. 0 blast effects included with this. So that's a little bit disappointing. You should have gave us, if you got blast effect hands, give us some blast effects. What's the peg for? Doesn't make a lot of sense there. I'll probably use these hands instead of the closed grip ones. I do have extra effects. A lot of us, you know, from the Walgreens exclusives, the previous ones, the Gamerverse one, Iron Man 2020, the Centurion. There's a lot of effects and a lot of reuse you can use out there if you really need to add to them. Tony Stark head doesn't look like the Tony Stark I know. It looks like it close, but a little different. Obviously, this must be the Gamerverse Tony Stark head. I'm sure if I'm wrong, somebody correct me in the comments. That's probably why it looks just a little bit different, similar to that Steve Rogers. That makes sense. I think this one will look a little weird with him just with the plain head, but maybe I'll go that route. We'll see. I like having options in my collection. My one weakness as a collector is we get so many spare parts that we don't use. I really should go back through my box of parts and freshen up my displays and switch some of these things out every once in a while. Maybe some of you guys do that, but it seems like a lot of work. Then you got to dig, and you guys know how it goes. But there it is. There is the Gamerverse version of Iron Man. So-so. But we got two heavy hitters to round out the set, so let's get to those now. All right, next up, we've got one people have been clamoring for years. Everybody has wanted an updated Falcon. We have a MCU edition of Falcon in the recent years, but nothing as far as comic book related Falcon. I believe this is early 80s, mid 80s Falcon. A lot of people wanted to go even farther back and get a 70s Falcon. I gotta think we'll probably get that at some time. You know, this Falcon, a lot of people griped it didn't come with, was it Red Wing? Is that his hawk that he comes with? His Falcon, I guess I should say. I can't remember. I know one of the earlier Toy Biz ones had that. I never had that figure, and I barely even remember that in the comic books. When somebody said something about that, it kind of jogged my memory, and I remembered him having that Falcon. But very cool. I think this will be one of the heavy hitters of the set, one of the most popular ones. You know, with the wings and all, and a character a lot of people have been wanting for years. Equals to one that probably will not be a peg warmer. So Marvel's Falcon, let's take a look at it. Can't miss that red. Extra to the hands, got the wings in the back. There he is on the side. Same thing on the other side. And of course the back, there it is. Got Marvel on the top. Let's read and see what it says about Falcon. Sam Wilson soars through the skies, dispensing justice and restoring faith in humanity. Kind of like I'm dispensing action figure reviews every single day. There you go. Let's see what's going on in here. Oh, we got the hidden leg down there at the bottom. See you later. Watch out. Lemmy down there, hanging out, chilling. There he is. Got the leg down at the bottom. Great use of hiding the figure, build-a-figure piece. Two hands up top. Get that out. Get the hands. I think I'll probably use these two flying hands. I kind of like those. See you later. And then, of course, you got the wings. They got their own little plastic thing. Kind of translucent. You can almost see through them. I think that's kind of cool. Let's see here. See you later. All right. So we got the wings. Now, you guys probably remember these wings are identical to the Vulture wings we got from Spider-Man. Beginning of 2020, I guess that Vulture Spider-Man cartoon figure came out. So great reuse there. Instead of being green, they're red. Makes a lot of sense. That's the reuse we like and we understand. So there's a foot, leg. Nothing bad with this figure. You know, so far all the figures I haven't really said, but I've been looking as I'm going. No paint imperfections. Marvel Legends has done a great job with the figure paints, especially on like the red and the whites, getting these together. No issues here. So I like that a whole lot. We've seen this body a million times over the years, so you know we don't need to talk about it. A little loose at the ab waist. You can kind of see a little shake there. That's to be expected. We've seen that before. Does old Sam fit on the stands? Of course he does. We're batting 1,000 so far here, guys. He's fitting on everything. Let's see if we can put him together here. Let's see. Maybe. Got one there. One there up top. Maybe. So there you go. You got some wings. Then you can put these other wings down here if you want to. I know, whoops. You can play with it a bit. Get it exactly how you want it. I'll play with it a bit here too. A little hard to get in there. Whoa, we're losing everything today, guys. Dropping these down here. Let me get that. And this will do now. I'll get the old glamour shot picture in to coincide with this, but you can, you know, put them like that. You can do it any which way. There is some mix and matching of these a little bit. So A very strong figure, and I'm glad a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people have wanted this one. I know some people wanted an even earlier Falcon, but they got this one. I think this is all right. I think this will definitely do. Will it be figure of the year? Probably not for me, but very possibly for some people out there. As Falcon is really, his name has really grown the last few years, especially with the Marvel movies and stuff like that. So I think he's more popular than ever. So there you go, another really good figure in this Marvel Legends line, and that is Falcon. So let's finish it up. We got one left to do, then we're going to do the Build-A-Figure. Alright, the final figure in this line is the only villain in this line. Is sometimes Marvel Legends, they don't skew enough towards the villain. And speaking of that, in 2021 they have announced a whole wave of villains called Bring On The Villains. I'm really excited for that, to find out who else is in that set. That should be a really good one. I feel we do need more villains, and it's good to get a Marvel's Kang, as Kang has not been made forever. It's probably been 10 years, maybe even longer. Somewhere around there, though. We haven't had Kang, one of the Avengers' first arch nemesis out there, the World Time Traveler. Very cool to get him in this set, as it was one not a lot of us were expecting, really. At least I wasn't. And it feels like a bit of a deep cut for me a little bit. I really knew this character, but he's not really at the top of my villain list. Like I said, not a huge Avengers reader back in the day, but obviously well aware of Kang. So there he is in the package. That green and purple really pop. Extra hands. Got the Joe Fixit part in there, of course. There he is on the side. And, of course, the other side. And then the back of the packaging. See what it says about old Kang. Born in the 31st century, Kang employs time travel and hyper-sophisticated technology to conquer all of time. And I always mispronounce Kang. I always call him Krang or vice versa. I always get him mixed up with the Ninja Turtle android character there. I don't know. Simple mistake, I guess. But see you later. Whoa, right off the D-Tolf like a frisbee. Once again, zero paint problems. You guys watch, for those of you that watch my wrestling unboxing videos, I love Mattel Elites. That's in my background here and stuff. You guys know I love them. But man, the paint issues with Mattel have just been about every figure, if not every other figure this year. It's been really painful, as I love that line so much. Marvel Legends, it is so rare for me to get a figure with paint application issues. Really big kudos to the Hasbro team, really making sure their quality control is where it needs to be. Nothing drives you more crazy than a figure with really bad paint issues, and Hasbro has had few and far between, so kudos to the Hasbro team. There it is right there. There he is in his plastic. Let's bust him out of here. Get it all out. Got three hands. Very interesting. Once again, an odd number of hands. See you later. Very cool, though. Very, very cool figure. I like this one a lot. Like I said, more villains the better. I'll take all the villains I can get at this point. No issues with me getting more villains. So there you go. Getting them all straightened out here. I think this is a new piece, this top. It's kind of, it's not removable, but it definitely feels different. It's got a little squish to it, so it's soft. It's not built into the figure, but very cool. Boy, that purple and green really pops. Really pops in person. Like I said, you got 3 extra hands. You could do the crazy, I've got the world by the fist type deal. It does come with a gun, so you can use the gun with him. Of course, the other leg for Joe Fixit. We're ready to build him next. But not a deep cut. Like I said, a major, major villain of the Avengers, but one that's somewhat forgotten in time a little bit, I feel. He's not up there with a lot of the other Thanoses of the world and Galactuses of the world and stuff like that. But a key villain that you definitely need in your Marvel Legends collection. Let's see, does he fit on the stand? And of course he does. So every single one of these figures fit on the Ringside Collectibles stand. Usually there is one that does not. Very impressed by that. So there you go. So there is Kang from Marvel Legends. A must-have. Could be the figure of the set for me. We'll see. I'm going to put them in order after we get done building Joe Fixit next. Alright guys, my favorite part of the Marvel Legends line is the Build-A-Figure process. I love putting them together. Like I said at the top of the video, I love getting the whole set, unboxing them all at once, and then putting the figure together. Drives me absolutely nuts if I'm missing an arm or a leg or something like that. I wait till I get the whole line. That's the time to put it together. So let's, without any further ado, let's put Mr. Joe Fixit together here. Let's see how easy this goes together. You know, we've had easy arms. You know, we've seen Marvel Legend Build-A-Figure. Sometimes they're easy, but then you got some like the Lizard, that tail wouldn't go on, or you got pieces that just will not go on. They fight you the whole way. Not this one so far. So far, we're looking good. Got Hulk. Let's see here. Get the head on. I usually have most problems with the heads and the legs. Head snaps in there pretty good. All right, we're getting somewhere, guys. This one's going together like butter. I could have just jinxed myself. You never know these legs. Kind of got to tighten them a little bit. Sometimes, you know, if you can't get your pieces, your heads off, stuff like that, just a little hot water or a little bit of a hair dryer. Be careful. You don't want to melt the plastic, but that is the ticket I always use. There we go. Oh, nope. Yeah, the legs are always the tough part. They're always the toughest. Gotta definitely use some might. You gotta work them in there, and I got him. So there it is, Joe Fixit, put together. I don't know if you guys are all familiar with Joe Fixit, kind of when he was not a mob boss, but a guard out in Vegas. There's that very iconic comic book cover with him and Wolverine as Patch, you know, Wolverine with the eye patch. That has to be coming as a 2-pack in 2021 with some reuse, a repaint one that not everybody will have to get, but I will be all over. This is a bit of a greenish gray on this Joe Fixit. You guys tell me, is this from the Gamerverse wave? Because this isn't quite the Joe Fixit I know. It's almost like a modern, updated rendition. I remember the one with the big Tommy gun and stuff like that, and he was definitely Gray Hulk. But this one is still pretty cool. I like this one. I could see them reusing this, like I said, in that 2-pack with Wolverine. I could see that happening. But a very cool figure. It's a greenish gray. It looks more gray in person, and I thought online it looked more green. Take that for what you will, but a solid Build-A-Figure. I don't know if it was everybody's first choice as Build-A-Figure, but I do like that they give us Hulks as Build-A-Figure. He's got to be a bigger character. That's the way you should do a Build-A-Figure piece. Going back, I did find my old school Toy Biz from my younger days. This is the Joe Fixit I know and love. You know, tattered shirt, beat up, Gray Hulk. There's no mistaking that it's Gray Hulk. So this one's been sitting down here in my basement for years, I guess, and I've always had a fondness for this figure as a kid as well. Obviously, if I could get more of this into this with this articulation and everything else, I would be a happy guy. I do got to feel that is coming down the line for us. That's a very simple, easy repaint that could easily be done. So there you have it. There is Joe Fixit, the Build-A-Figure piece of the Gamerverse wave. Now let's wrap the video up. Let's put them in order of my favorite to least favorite, and we'll wrap up the video. Alright guys, let's wrap this one up, and I put them in order of my favorite to my least favorite. So my first favorite, Thunderstrike, like I said, part of that is my childhood, buying the Thunderstrike comic books, knowing of this character ahead of time, the 90s gold deep cut. I'm a kid that, you know, became a teenager and a young kid in the 90s, so that stuff's fond in my heart, that's for sure. So Thunderstrike number 1, followed by Kang. Love getting a villain. Anytime we get a villain, it's good, especially such a iconic villain, I guess you would say, especially in the Avengers world. That's one figure I truly needed in my set, so I'm happy to get that one. Close second would be Falcon. Love that we got a non-MCU version of Falcon, a comic book Falcon, so I think that is very cool. Very solid. I know a lot of people will like this, the wings, all that fun stuff. There could be a little improvement here and there, but for the most part, that's a solid figure. Number 4, Joe Fixit, the Build-A-Figure. I like the Build-A-Figure a lot. Is it my favorite Build-A-Figure of the year? Not even close, no, but it's something we need in our collection. Would have rather had him gray, really a noticeable gray, kind of like that comic book cover I was talking about. That's the Joe Fixit I want, or at least a version like that Toy Biz one. But still a very solid figure. I did forget to mention the hat is not removable, so there's not a lot you can do there. You can't take his hat off. Next up is Joe Costa. Like I said, not a super popular character, one I really don't know a whole lot about, but I want new characters and new people in my universe. I'd much rather have her than, you know, who am I trying to think? Maybe a Hawkeye repaint, another Hawkeye, or another Captain America, something like that. That works for me. It's something different. Give us more of that. And then the final two, I mean, you can really switch these two either way. It's the Gamerverse. I don't play the game. These were the weak link from the get-go for me. I really do like the black suit, and I like the blue suit, though. Those both are pretty cool. I think this would be great to customize in maybe your G.I. Joe set and other things you could do with that. I like that they included extra heads on those two, so I think that is really cool. Gives a little extra value for really figures that are just repaints for the most part in the Gamerverse line. But a much stronger set than was announced. At first they said, hey, we got Gamerverse line Series 2, and I immediately groaned, like I said. But once they showed who the lineup was, I was extremely happy. I like it a lot. Thunderstrike being the best one for me. I hope this means maybe they're opening the door some more of those 90s characters out there, you know, like the, I don't know, Sleepwalkers, the Solos. You know, I'd love to see some of those X-Men villains like Trevor Fitzroy and Richter, and there's a lot of people from the 90s that came and kind of went and didn't stick, but I'd love to see some of them. You know, the Gideons and the Kanes of the world from early X-Force. There's just the Marvel Universe is so big, there's a lot of ways you can go. And the Marvel Legends team, they really do listen to the fans, and they seem to keep their ear to the streets, and they do give us deep cuts from time after time. So applaud the whole Hasbro Marvel Legends team, that is for sure. So there it is, another solid lineup. Hopefully you guys are finding these in stores. I gotta think they'll be everywhere around Christmas time, but it's been really hard to get this set, at least in my neck of the woods. Maybe yours is different, but there it is. So for Thunderstrike, for Kang, for Falcon, for Joe Fixit, for Jocasta, Captain America, and of course Iron Man, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.